Good morning, everyone, and warmly welcome to this press conference with Nordic leaders and the President of the European Commission. My name is Anne Sjöholm, and I work at the Prime Minister's office in Finland. We will start with brief remarks, and then we'll have time for a few questions. And because Sweden is hosting the meeting, we'll give the floor first to the Swedish Prime Minister. Please.
Thank you so much, and most welcome to all of you, and welcome to Sweden for this Nordic Council or Ministers meeting. And allow me first of all to greet Ursula von der Leyen. Extra welcome to the Nordics. International cooperation is really very rewarding, but it is sometimes also slightly frustrating. And I guess nobody in Europe knows that better than you do. So we want to tell you that we do appreciate your temperament and your honest sense of urgency in the world we live right now. Europe needs it and you right now. So most welcome to Stockholm. Today's meeting has covered how to enhance our common security and competitiveness in times where European and Nordic cooperation is more important and closer than ever before. The Nordic region is one of the most competitive regions in the world. In fact, as a club, we are the world's 12th largest economy, and in that sense, big enough to be part of the G20. We are world leaders in industrial innovation, in green technology, mobility, digitalization, and, not least, forestry. We have a strong legacy as leading democracies, and we rank very high for quality of life, innovation, and happiness. We take full responsibility for our own security, and we do support Ukraine for them and for ourselves. And during the meeting today, we have reaffirmed our ambition to become the world's most integrated region by 2030. Thank you so much. And now over to you, or over to Ursula.
Over to our distinguished guest.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much, all of you, for inviting me here to the meeting of the Nordic Council. I think of the Nordic countries as the Polaris of the North, we would say the North Star of Europe, because very often you show the way. First on readiness and preparedness. I think we can all agree no one does it like you. In the North, readiness runs through society, from the shelters in Helsinki to the Cadet Academy in Copenhagen. I've seen it for myself. Just last week in the European Council, we decided to move forward on Europe's roadmap for defence readiness by 2030. And after that, we discussed how to maintain our strong support to Ukraine. Your support will be essential, as it has been essential in reaching our goals. And of course, our experience and is fed by your experience and your knowledge on that. It goes from monitoring the Arctic in the north to deterring a rogue neighbor in the east. And all this will serve as a guide for all of Europe. My second point is on competitiveness. Our dinner with business leaders in Sweden was very informative for me. I heard a lot of inspiring stories yesterday, because here is excellence in the room. But I was just as interested in the challenges as I was in the progress that has been shown forward. We know what hinders competitiveness in the European Union. There's a clear lack of access to capital for scale-ups. There's red tape. Permits take too long, a fragmented single market and high energy costs. We're working very hard on all these topics across all strands to simplify, to clarify, and to accelerate. Here our guiding star is the Draghi report, and together we're preparing our clean tech future. And here again, we're looking at the Nordics. Not long ago, your region depended heavily on fossil fuels. Today, 99% of Sweden's electricity is coming from renewables and nuclear. And that is a lesson to learn for all of Europe. You stayed focused, you stayed the course on the targets of climate neutrality, but you're flexible on the way how to get there. And then you succeed. You have turned the climate debate and the competitiveness debate into one, and that's the right way to go. Because clean tech is where smart money goes. We want the future of clean tech to be made here in Europe, and for this we must retain our industries, our talents, and our jobs. In a world of fierce, often unfair competition, we must support more clean products made in Europe, strengthen key sectors from cars to batteries, and secure access to the critical raw materials with our new Resource EU plan. That's the goal, and we will stay firmly focused on it. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Finland and Åland are co-hosting the presidency of the Nordic Council of Ministers this year. So next we will hear from the Prime Minister of Finland and then from the head of government of Åland. So Prime Minister Orpo, please.
Thank you so much. It is great to be here today. Thank you all for hosting us. This morning we had the second Nordic Prime Minister meeting during the presidency of Finland and Åland Islands. I believe it is the first time we had the President of the European Commission as our main guest. I want to thank you, Ursula, for being here today, and thank you also for your wise words. The war in Ukraine and Russia's reckless behaviour at the Baltic Sea region have made our region a hotspot. This has changed our work in the European Union and our work amongst the Nordics. The small countries of this region know that we need to work together to be stronger. And this is what we have also discussed today. Our second theme today was competitiveness. For me, it is also a key theme. We, the Nordics, can be considered as forerunners in competitiveness. We created free movement for our citizens decades before the Schengen Agreement. We are leaders in innovation and in areas like clean energy and technology, but we need to do more. Also here, working together is the key.
I think this morning's meeting have had an air of determination and also hope. Anyone who follows the news can see that the Nordic countries must stand together, as well as Europe must stand together. It is expected that politicians, businesses and civil society will work together to build a stronger Nordic region and a stronger Europe. With our own clean energy, our own supply chain and our own defence, but also with sustainability, equality, competitiveness and education for all.
Thank you. And then we will proceed in the order of time in office, and I'll give the floor to the Prime Minister of Denmark, please.
Thank you, and first of all, thank you, Ulf, for hosting us today. Right now we face the greatest threat since World War II. Russia is trying to weaken our societies and to divide us. But they shall know that they will never succeed. So first of all, we have to continue our strong support to Ukraine. They are the first line of defence for the entire Union and our continent. Secondly, we have to rearm ourselves. I'm very pleased that we now have an ambitious roadmap. We have to be able to defend ourselves by 2030 at the latest, and I think all of us in the Nordic region want to work even closer together on defence readiness. We also have to work closer on economy, competitiveness, and, as you said, Ursula, green innovation, and that is exactly what we are doing now through simplification and through our strong efforts to setting an ambitious 2040 climate target for the European Union. At the same time, I think, as Nordics, we have to hold on to what is most important, to the most important values that we have in the Nordics, our trust in each other, in our societies, our welfare systems, that we take care of those who need a strong welfare society, the freedom to walk in our streets, to be who you are and to say what you want. For us, democracy is a question of human dignity. It was a former Swedish Prime Minister who said that 50 years ago, and I couldn't agree more. So let's keep this in mind as we continue to strengthen the ties between us.
Thank you so much. And next, Prime Minister of Norway, please.
Thank you so much, and thank you, Ursula, for being here. I think I went directly to a Nordic meeting after I was elected Prime Minister in 2021. And now, having been re-elected and thinking back of those 4 years, how much the Nordics and the Europeans are integrated and how many of the challenges we have to face together, it really strikes me at this juncture. So on competitiveness for Norway, obviously, it is the EEA agreement, which makes us an integral part of the internal market. And by that, we are participating in a lot of the very critical issues we are now doing on defence integration, military integration from our industries, programs to develop the necessities to take care of our security. That is absolutely key, new common initiatives. And on security, I mean, a few months after I came to office, we had the full-scale invasion, and Ukraine has served as a awakening call to what is the security landscape in Europe. It is a strength for all of us that we can approach this as a common Nordic family and a common European family. So supporting Ukraine, doing it in the smart way, I think we, the Nordic countries, probably have the most experience in that because we are doing known things, and we are also innovating in the way we do our support to Ukraine, and I know that that is also being reflected in the broader European approach. Final remark, we've also had among the Nordic Prime Ministers today a brief discussion on the need to coordinate our work against organised crime, against gangs, against drug trafficking that is really feeding organised crime in modern Europe. I'm very happy to see that among the Nordic countries we have police intelligence working closely together. That is important, and we have to deepen that. And also, you know, a theme of protecting our youth. We discussed at the meeting with the President. Some of us are now putting proposals out for an age limit to access social media, which is also an important part of looking after what I would say daily life security of our youth. Improving their school results, improving their mental health. There's no way around addressing this issue. And by doing it together in this family, we also stand stronger. Thank you.
Thank you. And then Prime Minister of Faroe Islands, please.
Thank you. And thank you all for hosting us in Stockholm. I am also very pleased that EU Commission President von der Leyen is here today. The EU and the Nordics are not just close neighbours, but close partners united by democracy, the rule of law and human rights. In these uncertain times, it is more important than ever to meet with like-minded partners. Let me briefly highlight two key points from today's meeting. First, we discussed strengthening our security, and Europe must do more, and NATO remains the backbone of our security. The Faroe Islands are committed to supporting regional stability and transatlantic security. We actively contribute to allied initiatives and providing port and airport access and participating in joint NATO exercises. Second, we focused on competitiveness. Europe and Nordics are known for high standards and fair competition, but we must find the right balance. Deregulation and simplification is important, so we don't fall behind global players like India and China. Thank you.
Thank you. And then last but not least, Prime Minister of Iceland, please.
Thank you. I guess being the last, I can echo what a lot of people have been saying here. I think it's It's been exceptional to have a leader like Ursula at the European Union at this time. It's a tricky leadership to be had, to speak positively about sometimes a negative development. But obviously Iceland isn't part of the EU, but like Norway is a part of the EEA. This is our biggest trading partner. And so we value any relationship that deepens that market. I also want to comment just shortly on security concerns, because obviously Iceland has been very active in the support to Ukraine. I mean, we are a small nation, so in absolute matters, it will never be great. But in terms of signaling, it's important that we understand the threats that are transpiring. But our message has also been to this group, both the Nordics, but also at the EU level and at the NATO level, that people need to be looking north as well. They need to be looking up. If we see threats from Russia, we should also be looking at those threats from the north. And I was very recently just in Greenland, and we were having these similar discussions, and the Prime Minister of Denmark and I have also discussed this, that we can't be naive in that region either. And we've seen very quick developments when it comes to sort of security culture in Iceland as of recently, that we're aware of strengthening our presence in that area. But it needs to be on our terms. Iceland doesn't have a military, but we've been an active part of NATO. So we're strengthening our host nation capabilities. And we're also always emphasizing, even though we have a very strong Nordic cooperation and a strong EEA cooperation, that I mean, the connection with the U.S. is always going to be a strong backbone to everything that we do. I just want to say towards the end, when it comes to this Nordic relationship, we share values that are under threat right now. We have been a guiding light when it comes to democracy, when it comes to human rights. And I just want to echo what Prime Minister Frederiksen said. When it comes to trust, we're worried about security concerns. We need the backup of our public. They need to believe in us. They need to believe in our institutions. So we're also worried about misinformation, about social media, how we talk to each other. So this is a big political engagement topic that we need to take forward. And I'm looking forward to further collaboration. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And now we have time for a few questions. Kindly wait for the microphone and mention your name before asking the questions. And we start with Sveriges Radio.
There it is. Right, so my first question is to welcome everyone to Stockholm, first of all. I'm Felicia Hassan, the Baltic Sea correspondent for Swedish radio. And my first question will be to Jonas Gahr Støre and Petteri Orpo. You both have borders with Russia in the north. How serious do you consider the threat from Russia in the Arctic region right now? I'm, of course, thinking about the recent testing of the new missile. And then to Denmark, Mette Frederiksen, any updates on the drone incidents that happened there last month? Where they came from? Do you still consider the incidents hybrid attacks?
Well, if I can begin, it is a long tradition that Norway follows very closely, testing of Russian military technology in the north. We live 100 kilometers from the world's largest nuclear arsenal. And I think one strength of NATO is that we are ears and eyes to follow that. This is not weapons directed primarily against us, but it is a strategic weapon for Russia. And I think it is a worrying sign that so much emphasis is being put into these developments. And what we learned over the last days, I think, is not a complete story about this potential missile, because that has had a very mixed story in its testing. Again, I think I will use, if Petteri will allow, a Finnish expression that Petteri has shared with me, that we are not afraid, but we are prepared. Yes. We know what it is to be a neighbor with the Soviet Union and with Russia, and we are strengthened by having our own defense, which is now scaling up its capacity, but even more so by having Sweden and Finland as partners in NATO, so that we have interoperability in the way we plan also for defense in the north. So there are three dimensions to this from Norway's side. It is our own defense, it's our regional partners in the north, and then of course the NATO partnership with the US and other allies. So if we do our work correctly, we are a threat to no other country, but no other country should have the idea of threatening us.